Yo, what's good? Welcome to Contrast Comedy. I'm one of your hosts, Cuddy B.
And I'm Jerry Corley, a.k.a. The Joke Doctor.
And I'm a.k.a. the Joke Doctor's assistant, working on getting my Joke Doctor's license so I don't get filed for malpractice. I'll get it right one of these days. Anyways, though, good episode. Hope you guys enjoy. That's my son in the background. Peace.
Hey. I was like basically, raised.
Yeah.
I was played in the horn band, right? And I was like, I played in like, I think can't remember one. I played in first of all, I wanted to get, when I got to high school, Franklin High School in Stockton, California, of all places. I was, it was such a good mix of kids, meaning there were black people, there were Mexicans, there was like, and a couple of white trash, right? Like trailer trash. I mean, real fucking trailer trash, man. And and us, right? I felt like we were in the middle of like our neighbor next door. Never had words with them, never spoke to them, but they were complete trailer trash. It was our transition between my dad and mom being in New York and then moving to the West Coast, right? And so, we were broke, so we stayed at my grandma's first. Then we found a house to rent, and then we lived there for a while. Well, my dad was in L.A. getting commercials and shit, and he finally was able to move the family down to L.A. So it's quite a journey, right? It was almost like Grapes of Wrath, because the people that live in that, they were called Okies because they came from Oklahoma during the Great Dust Bowl, right? So it's what that whole
I've
book
never
was
read that
about.
book.
Oh,
That was not part of our reading curriculum in high school.
the
They made us
curriculum. I love it. Curriculum. So it's
curriculum, whatever. It wasn't on the syllabus.
right. Grapes of Wrath wasn't on the syllabus. That's one of
Grapes.
those. What about what about what were some of the other books? The Outsiders or uh what were
So
some,
like the Outsiders. So
Catcher in
there's
the
the
Rye?
Catcher in the Rye that wasn't on our thing. We did Of Mice and Men. We
Oh,
did
that's a
Lord of
good
the
one.
Flies.
That's a good one.
Uh, Night. I think it's called Night. It's about like this Jewish kid, and it was the equivalent to the Diary of Anne Frank. So if you didn't get to read the Diary of Anne Frank, then it was called Night. I remember that one. We read that one, and then Animal Farm. Animal Farm, really, that one was. I love that book. That book that really made
I
it
think
dent on
everybody's
me.
got to read Animal Farm, right?
Animal Farm is the shit, bro.
What was it? Fahrenheit 450,
Never did that book either.
458 or something like that?
451, I think, or
451,
455.
Fahrenheit 451, which is the temperature that paper burns. And we're in that spot
Oh
today,
my
right?
gosh, yes, the GOP, man. They don't want us reading.
Holy shit. They don't want us
They don't want us
reading. They
reading.
don't want us voting. They don't want us talking. They don't
Nah,
it's just like we're in a situation, man. It's like it
100%, man.
really is like I'm like I posted something. I have an alt Twitter account.
Your burner
Uh
Twitter account.
Yeah, it's gotta. You gotta now because like if I start doing it as me, first of all, it's not good for my brand necessarily,
No.
unless I go full George Carlin,
Yeah.
right? If I go full George Carlin, maybe I actually gain some followers, right?
Uh-huh.
But because I'm now showing that personality, right now I'm sort of centric towards just the comedy to help. I don't care what your politics are. I'm going to
Hmm.
help you learn comedy, right? Because God knows the Greg Gutfeld side needs to learn
Oh
how to write a
God,
fucking joke.
and the Nick DiPaula, but then again, maybe it's DiPaula that's writing for Gutfeld.
That's exactly what's happening. Nick DiPaolo is writing for Gutfeld, and he doesn't know how to write a joke. Sorry, DiPaolo. You all these years in comedy, you haven't learned how to write a joke. Take a statement, give us context before you do the punch. But it's just like that's my complaint there. And it's like I'll never forget when I watched Gutfeld because it shows up like, oh, he's number one. First of all, he's
Hmm.
not at 10:30. That doesn't count.
No.
That's not the time slot. The time slot is 11:30. Who's still on by then? Your people, that crowd goes to sleep by then, and it's like 10:30. That's where you watch the late night stuff. Where you come and you watch late night 11:30, and who's able to keep up the people then now.
Right.
But he was showing some good numbers for that.
You
But
think
I said,
Fox is
okay,
gonna
so
try to get Bill Maher now, since Maher's out there having dinner with the president?
They can try. They can have to offer him a lot of money. And knowing Bill Maher, he'd take it because he's a weasel.
Did you hear?
Um,
Did we talk about this last week, or I don't know? Because I've been in this whole living death. By the way, I appreciate you sticking with me, even though I haven't really been like all up here during the podcast and stuff. Because I've just been like, I'm watching the recordings, and I'm just like, damn, dude, I'm just dead, but
well,
I'm
dude,
starting to come back alive now, so I'm good.
that's why we do it as a pair, right? You know, you
Yeah,
got to carry somebody on their back sometimes
yeah.
because there's the brain fog, or there's brain fog from weed, or there's brain fog from stacking weed and edibles, or there's brain fog from stacking weed, edibles, and a shitty marriage. Oh, and all of that stuff is going to happen. So it's like, I don't, having you there and trying to help you, it gives me a reason too, gives me purpose. All right,
Yeah.
Teddy B's having a hard time. I'm gonna help him out, and that gives me extra motivation too,
Well,
because
thank you, man. I
I went
appreciate
from
it.
my midnight swim last night. I was there till 2 in the morning at the gym. Got home, couldn't sleep, and um, and then it was like next thing I know, it was like 6 in the morning.
Damn.
I was like, son of a bitch, man.
Were you
And I
just
was
writing?
trying this. I was doing some writing, getting distracted,
Uh,
going down a little bit of a rabbit hole on Twitter.
those happen. Those happen.
Yeah, especially now, right? It's so heated. But it was
Yeah.
like, so I wrote this tweet, see if I can find it, on X, and was sort of loosely based on Samuel L. Jackson, because we talked about Samuel L. Jackson and Harry Potter, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so last week, and so this week, I was like, when I was like, because they were starting to, like, Pam Bondi basically said that she's gonna you're gonna go into people's houses without a warrant, which is violation of
For the
of
immigrants or for these refugees or what?
yeah, to find immigrants, right?
Uh,
For anybody, she's gonna go into go into people's houses. I said, try coming in mine. I dare you. We're gonna have some words, and those words are gonna have dot 38 attached to them. And I'm not a gun person, right? I'm not a gun person at all. But it's like, but to have somebody do that, what the hell was that? Where's that tweet? It was funny.
yeah,
Um, oh, that's because I'm in my regular Twitter
yeah, you got to
account.
be in the burner account,
I got
man.
to go to the burner account.
Well, sometimes you even just to do your even like the burner account's good for your jokes and stuff that aren't really matching with your brand, but also a burner account's good just so you can actually like look at shit and not get your regular feed all screwed up with the AI algorithm now.
Yeah, yeah. I guess so. So I've got this like image of, see if I can pop it on the screen here.
It's like spend like too much time looking at a butt video, and next thing you know, your whole feed is nothing but just big old butts. It's like,
And then
jeez.
and I'm we're dudes, right? So that pops up. It pops up, and if it's sexy, we just go, "Oh, damn!"
Right?
Right? It's like, and it's
But,
like, and then we're like, "What am I doing? I get shit
dude,
to do."
seriously. Yeah. Like the AI is crazy too. Like Facebook now, like for people that it was trying to like, hey, you might know this person, or hey, you might want to be friends with this person. That's all it's doing now. It's just throwing out hot chicks for me. And I'm just like, nah, bro, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like I need that extra
I don't need
nonsense in
that
my
nonsense
life.
right now.
I don't need that crap. It's like, because this is
Oh
what happened
man.
today. Like Lauren came in and says, "So Delaney and I got that house." I was like, "Oh, good. That's good to hear. Congratulations." On the inside, I'm going, "Fuck yeah, moving this shit along."
Let's go.
Yeah, it's just
That's
like,
good shit, dude.
yeah, it's, and I know I got to work hard. Gonna have to work harder, right? But it's going to be worth it because I can work harder because I won't have to deal with the,
Yeah.
you know,
It's that
it's
weight,
like, it's just the time,
the dead
right?
weight.
So anyway, so I put on this, so I wanted to say something because like Pam Bondi's coming in. So I said, great, let's do it. I've dusted my musket and got a fresh powder horn. This is an Elon musket. Comes with a bump stock and some ketamine. I'm dying to test drive it on some trespassing, unconstitutional, Trump dick sucking motherfuckers. Luke 10.2. Hurt motherfuckers who try to hurt my neighbor. So it was like, and I had to show Samuel Jackson during his
Yeah.
Ezekiel speech on Pulp Fiction, right? Because that was such a brilliant speech. And the way he justifies killing people with the Bible. Hey, it's in there. So
I
I'm
like the
gonna
wordplay with Elon Musket. That's good shit.
it just sort of came up in my because I was talking about dusting off my musket because basically we're going back to the time where we
Yeah,
had
we're
to sort of
pretty
take
much
on the
we're yeah.
redcoats, but
Now
still
it's
we're
the red
taking on the red
hats.
hats.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or the red
exactly.
caps.
The red caps. Instead of red coats, we got red caps.
Red
So
caps, red pills. It's too much redness, man.
a lot of redness, and this it's funny when you catch those red pill alpha males not even using their own branding. That's the Matrix, dude. And then they find out that the Matrix was written by two trans people,
Yeah,
and you're
right.
like, you had no idea you were woke. Welcome to the good side.
Well, it's just that's all the whole hijacking and then just thinking that no one's reading and no one's paying attention. So that's why everyone's able to just keep doing this regurgitation and regurgitation, and then no one's checking anybody. So
Right, right.
it's just going on with it, man.
And it was like Sue. There was another one where some chick like she's like, here's what it's like. People sometimes ask for examples, right, of stuff, and it's like so. One of the things I was like looking at was the fact that let's see, um, this gal like kind of like she sort of came at me, right? And it's like when I posted something, and she says, "Oh, whataboutism isn't what you think it is," or something like that. And I was like, "Wait, what?" It kind of threw me because it's exactly what she was doing
What
was
about
whataboutism,
what
right?
about It's like, bitch, that's what you're doing right now.
So I'll give you an example. It's like perfect, like whataboutism isn't truly the flex you think it is, she says, right? So, but it starts with this guy Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah.
So one of my students, right? His name is William James Hamilton,
Uh-huh.
and he
Is he
still sounds like a founding father.
It does sound like
Uh,
a founding father. I was gonna say, does he have any relation to the Hamiltons?
I think so. There's some definite colonial blood there. His dad was born in South Carolina in
Oh,
1938,
oh yeah,
so I'm sure it goes back.
100%.
His dad's a
They
you
definitely
know
got some black people on the receipts.
probably right, and they his dad's not a right winger.
uh,
He tries to stay neutral because he's an attorney,
uh,
but he represented Vince Foster, that guy that people thought was killed by Bill Clinton. He was
uh,
Foster's attorney to prove that he wasn't killed. You know, he did commit suicide. He was depressed, and he had worked with Vince Foster for many years. And he was like, that's what, you know. So he was
so there
like,
was
I can
apparently there was
confirm.
somebody that was sitting there saying that Bill Clinton had killed somebody.
Oh, this guy Vince Foster, one of an aide to Bill Clinton,
Was this part of
kind
the Star Report, or was this
kind of.
before the
That sort
Star
of like
Report?
snuck in there, right? But there was all
Interesting.
this like other crap. Remember this. Think about it. Bill Clinton was the president of the United States, and Ken Starr and the Republicans came along with this real estate deal that happened 10 years prior or 20 years prior in Arkansas.
Mhm.
It was called Whitewater investigation, right? So they were trying to take this Whitewater investigation where they said was a tainted real estate deal that Ken Starr couldn't find jack shit on, right? There was nothing wrong with the real estate deal. Another gaslighting effort by the GOP. So then they pivoted to this come on a blue dress. Come on a blue dress, blue
Dry
dress,
cum
blue
on a
dress.
blue dress.
So anyway, so this guy Alexander Hamilton, he's like he said Harvard reject, right?
Uh,
Shows Barron Trump, which is what they were saying. Like Times was speculating too. He's like, wait a second. He applied to Harvard. He applied to Columbia. It got rejected by both and wound up going to NYU.
oh no shit.
Yeah, and so we got rejected though from Harvard, right? Again,
Is that why there's all this beef now with Harvard and
yes,
not wanting to give money and
yeah, that's
everything?
right.
Dude, I
He's
love how
going.
that just clicked.
He's going after all the universities that rejected his son. What a
Oh my
petty
God, dude.
son of a bitch,
Wow.
man. That's like
Wow.
you still man, you gotta let go of some of that shit. Why isn't this guy dead? If I held on to all those fucking reasons I
And
was mad at people,
and then all that fast food eating too, man.
oh
He
my
really
God.
got a good deal with the devil, yo. He
Maybe,
got a
yeah,
good
either
deal with the
that or
devil.
he's got the real health secret, which is basically fried chicken, McDonald's,
Big
and
Macs,
getting pissed
Big
off at
Macs on
stupid
Big
shit.
Macs. Yeah.
Yeah, about your half son that you're not even sure is yours. Um,
Looks has no like if you look at his face, like he honestly has none of the characteristics of any of the other.
oh yeah, but it's
And
all his
granted,
mom
they're
there.
all yeah, it
Look
does
at that,
look
all
all
pissed off at
Melania.
shit. Look at that, just something like a pouty face. Where's the dyslexia come in? And whatever else is ailing this kid. So yeah, but he said so anyway. So this guy puts Harvard reject. He's like, and then this gal Carol says, "Nah, not everybody can be a drug addict and hooker customer like Biden's kid, right?" So that's whataboutism.
Mm-hmm.
What about Hunter Biden
Biden.
and his drug addiction? So I said, you mean the entirety of the Republican Party, starting with Cocaine Donnie and AKA Sniffer McTrust Fund, right? She goes, whataboutism isn't really the flex you think it is.
Bitch, you were
This
the
is
one who started it.
exactly. And this gal puts, you started it. And it's like, she doesn't even see that that's what she did for the argument. And I'm still sticking with the original one, which is like she said she brought in drug addict. I'm answering her. If you're going to go drug addict, what about this? The entirety of the Republican Party started with cocaine. I should have just put that image of him on stage with his dad, and he does that thing,
And then he
and his
has
dad says, "Oh, he's like, you want me to stay here?" And he goes, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And he turns around this way, reaches his hand out of his pocket, and goes, "Yeah." Like, oh shit, man. Dude's like, why else would you put your hand in your pocket and rub your gums? Because you got like a plastic bag in that pocket.
well, wasn't it his during his term, his first term, where it was like over like 2,000 Ambien pills were on that fucking
Oh
or
yeah, man.
pharmacy script or whatever?
Yeah, dude, that's something I'm surprised they haven't investigated. Uh, let's see, the White House pharmacy. That was just like the blew my mind. I don't know if a lot of people saw this, right? So
No, I don't think they
in
have.
this like let's take a look at this image.
While you're doing that, you had we were talking about Burr a little bit earlier, and then Jesse David Fox, the guy who wrote that comedy book and does the articles in Vulture. He was talking about how he feels like Bill Burr is now on that that path of enlightenment, or I guess you could say the comedy philosopher, kind of like how Carlin was. What's your thoughts on that?
Kinda. Yeah, which is what I'm, because right now that space is there's a void, right? There's nobody really out there speaking truth to power in a powerful way, like with the metaphors and the aphorisms and the clear, concise explanation that pulls back those two layers, which is why, I feel like I got to get back out there and really start just letting it, pulling back, stop being the got to be on my best behavior, Jerry Corley,
Mhm.
and start, because when I do that, shit happens. It's like when I was at the Comedy Store and Vargas asked me to do some shit. And he said, "Hey, you want to get up there and do a quick set to close this out?" I said, "Sure." And I went up there and I don't give a fuck who you voted for. That's part of your conscience, right? It's like you got to vote your conscience. But, and then I went into this whole thing
Mhm.
and and in a 10-minute period, got that entire room on their feet. And Vargas was like, I've never seen anything like that, right? So it was like that was like, and then what happened was my student was also on the showcase, which was there's a few of my students on the showcase, which was the reason I was there.
Mhm.
And he's like 6'2" and got a goatee, bald. Everybody was coming up to him after the show, going, "Man, great set." He's like, "Thanks." But it got a response. Now, I'm not sure how that would play in Idaho or Texas,
Right.
but But I remember doing during George W. I was out there on the road. He had an 89% approval rating, and I was getting standing ovations from the stuff I was doing because I
But
was
it's a little
attacked.
bit different though because Bush didn't really have a cult. It wasn't
He didn't have a
cultish.
cult.
It
You're
wasn't
right.
cultish.
I did get a brick thrown through my rear window in Boise, but that was it because I took on KKK people
Yeah, that's
right there,
yeah.
right? So, and it's like I'm not bragging about standing ovations. I don't really care. I just want the audience to sit there and go, "Oh shit, I never thought about it that way." It just happened to be one of those standing ovations. And here's the problem with getting a standing ovation. Once you get one,
You get hooked.
you get hooked, and now every other show is like, well, how come I didn't get a standing ovation, right? And it's like, so it's like I don't recommend them. When they
Nah, man,
happen, they're very cool. They feel like, oh wow, oh shit, you even if you get like
they're
five
like
people on your feet,
heroin. You
they
get the
are.
first one, and now next thing you know, you're chasing the dragon.
First bump's on me, right? So yeah, if we talk about people, and I'm not sure how many people pay attention. I'm like a news kind of a news junkie in that way. I like to look at shit. But if we look at the like the actual like database here, it's like
Yeah.
this is the CSIB receipt tracking 2019. Love how they keep this updated, right? They
The way they just scratch out the 14. Well,
yeah.
we don't need a. You don't got
We
that.
don't,
You don't got that password to Adobe. No,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
got
we
the
don't, yeah.
password to Adobe. Let's cross that shit
It's like
out.
what? I don't know how to work Adobe Acrobat. Um, so look at this right here.
Jesus
Fentanyl,
Christ, bro.
50 milligram or 50 mcg, I think that says. Four.
Like, why?
We got
We gotta take it
hydrocodone.
easy. We gotta take it easy on this one. It'd be killing a
Hyd
lot of people.
yeah, and
Just,
like
just four,
most,
Doc. Just four.
like a lot of the shit, a lot of this is classified, right? It's like what would they call it? They call it
HIPAA.
no, like what is it? Uh, oh shit, class one, yeah, class
Uh,
one narcotics, right?
mhm.
These are fucking like morphine. 20. What? You need 20? 20? Would you break a would you have a bone sticking out of your brain? Like what is what do you need 20 morphine pills for? And then you got Provigil. I think Provigil is like it's like I don't know what that is. 200. 200.
200. That's wild.
Tylenol 3, fentanyl again,
What's the one
another
that's
fentanyl 10.
800?
Need 10 fentanyl. And it's like date ordered, doesn't even say that. And it like pushed it down to, or it's this same date, Tylenol 3 and fentanyl. Like, and then you have like, I'm not sure, you have Ambien, 800
2000.
Ambien.
And then on the bottom, there's another
Yeah.
2000
Look at
Ambien
that right
on
there.
August.
2,000 Ambien right there, bro.
Dude, talk
And then there's
about
like
fucking date rape.
990 Provigil. What is Provigil?
Oh, no. Watch it be something that has to do with their digestive system or something.
Right, right. Provigil. There was Provigil shortage. Well, maybe because
That's like what Trump was doing back then.
exactly. Provigil shortage. Ah, maybe that's from what did it just bump me out? What the fuck?
Got to go behind the paywall, dude.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what Chrome just disappeared. Hold on, where did Chrome go? Chrome just like say I'm out. It's usually in
It's like
my
I'm not in this Provigil. Provigil, Provigil.
yeah.
Oh, it's reduces extreme sleepiness or wait, Mata modafinil. Modafinil reduces extreme sleepiness due to narcolepsy and other sleep disorders, such as periods of stopped breathing during sleep, so obstructive sleep apnea. It's also used to help you stay awake during workout. So basically, it's like
Oh, that's a Trump drug.
it's a it's a
Yeah.
rich man's fucking Adderall
Basically, yeah. Well, he uses Adderall too, and that's I guess he didn't have any more when he was at the Pope's funeral.
because he was like nodding off and shit.
Yeah, he fell asleep at the Pope's funeral, man.
Ah,
And it's like talking about sleepy Joe Biden. And it's like that's not something that bothers me. I get it. It's like so I don't sit there and pick on somebody for for falling asleep and shit. But especially with the grueling schedule that a lot of these guys have and the age he's at, right?
What is he? Is he like almost 80 now, or is he 80?
Um, he's almost 80. He'll be 80, I
Uh,
think, in a year.
damn.
Yeah. So it's like he's old. He's an old dude. So why would people pay, people who cares? That's what I say. Who cares that you're falling asleep at a funeral? Really, who
The
gives a flying
funerals,
fuck?
they're not supposed to be entertaining, anyways.
How about just do your job, bro? That's all. Just do your job.
Quit trying to hawk
Do
Teslas and do your job, bro. Like they're so did you see the fucking article or probably just the headline where they're all students that had federal tax or federal loans, they're recapturing that money because they shouldn't no one should be able to escape debt. And I'm like, oh, no one should be able to escape debt except for Donald Trump. Like, come on, yo.
It's unbelievable. Well, the Carol chick sort of like underscored the entirety of that sort of group because here she just like she basically what uses whataboutism on me, and then calls me out for using whataboutism. Are you on drugs?
They are.
Like
She's
I
on
don't.
Provigil.
Yeah, it's like exactly. They're all like, I got to get me some of this Provigil because there's times I fell asleep. I'll have to talk to my medical advisor.
So I ended up leaving my therapist because I got tired of lying to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Oh,
bad, but it's like you gotta lie. You're lying to your therapist just so you can, so you don't have to get looked through at his judgy eyes. So I quit my therapist, and I've done that like it was like a couple of months ago. But because of I was in this whole living death and not really doing well with life and everything like that, and especially like I think it was like last week or the week before last, it was just really bad. So I was on Chat GPT, and you know how they have like the marketplace. So I go through the marketplace and I type in therapy. And it comes up and it's like it's a therapist, but it's for entertainment purposes only. So I start using it, and then it's actually been really good. And so I call it my FIPO therapist because it's for entertainment purposes only. Uh, and it's fucking awesome, man. And the reason why it's so awesome is because like I'm like recording. So like in order for me to have to talk to the chatbot, I gotta like stop what I'm doing and like type out what the behavior that I'm doing, which is already interrupting the pattern that I want to stop doing. And then it's also making me more conscientious of like what's going on and more aware. So now I'm like doing better than what I was doing before. And it's all thanks to a for your entertainment purposes only fucking
no,
chatbot.
it's not just to that. It's you started telling the truth.
Yeah, right. Because a robot won't judge me because a robot doesn't have a soul.
Right? That's right. Exactly. And we start worrying about the purpose of therapy. I find that when I tell the truth to the therapist, and sometimes it's hard, man,
Yeah.
because you don't want to look like a douchebag, right? Because and you're not a douchebag. You're just like any other person. You have made bad choices
Mm-hmm.
or said something or did something that would not be viewed as, you know, the right thing to do. There's nothing I could say I've done that would be like illegal, um, or unethical,
Right.
immoral,
Yeah.
according to who? According to society, right? So it's like according to what society says.
Right.
So biologically, I don't think what I did was wrong. It's like man's got to get some pussy, right? And that just sounds wrong, right? But it's true,
It's
right?
science, babe. It's science, okay?
It's science. It's all based in science. Now, the way
Don't
I went
blame
about it,
me.
all right,
Blame Mother Nature.
blame Mother Nature. Like
God damn
it's
it.
at a certain point because one of my therapists, she actually said, "Well, you did violate your vows, but so did she."
Yeah.
And I said,
And I own
"How?"
up to him.
And she's like, "Love and cherish till death do you part." Right? So it's like you said those words, right? So it's like she left out the love and cherish part. She didn't see that as part of the relationship. She thought when she wanted to tune out, she could tune out. But then when you tune out and get some, suddenly And I don't know if she
It's
actually used the
World
word
War
get
Three.
some in the therapy. Suddenly it's World War III and I'm the evil one. And
You're the
that's the way
bad
it will be
guy.
looked at from here on in. And she
So
goes, you just have to be
in all the
satisfied
history books,
with the fact that all the history books are going to show you
you're the
as
bad
the
guy.
bad guy. And it's
Hello,
like,
hello, Scarface.
until your children are old enough to have
Understand
complex
and
thought
realize. Yep.
and realize, oh, there's real shit that happens.
Yeah. That's
You
what it's
know,
all about, dude. That's what it's all, I was gonna. Damn, I need to start writing shit down because there was something I was gonna say in regards to all that shit. Fuck, it'll come back to me.
like my sister, whose husband cheated on her.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Oh, that's what I want to talk about.
she was not very happy about that. She goes, "Oh, Jerry." I said, "Well, listen up. You know, I said, your relationship is probably a little bit different than mine. Mine, I haven't had sex in 10 years. We were married 19 and a half. We've not had sex more than the years we had sex." And my sister was like, "Oh, wow. Oh, I can't. What? That's ridiculous. Oh, there was no problem in that area with me." Say, there you go. Because you would analyze that, be introspective, and go, I better get up my game here. I'm letting down my husband, right? I'm letting down the person I'm supposed to love, right?
Yeah,
And talk to him about it or something, or
yeah.
get some fucking hormone shots and estrogen and figure out what's going
Or
on,
get him a
right?
gift card to the bunny ranch if you're not gonna put out.
Right, exactly. Here, go get some. It's like for me, like
Have it be
with
reverse cucking.
yes, I think about it this way, right? I think about it as like my therapist said to me one time, she goes, how would you feel if she went out and got some on the side? I said, for all I know, she is. She goes, where makes you come to that conclusion? I said, I had a discussion. I said to her, listen, we both understand this lifestyle. I That's why we got together. Like I tour, we met while I was on tour and you were on a trip, right?
Yeah,
So because she's an airline pilot, right? So I was like, um, and it's like, so we get it. Just because we're staying in a hotel doesn't mean we're partying. Those people who don't do this gig are like, oh man, they're probably partying every night. No, it's not like that. Maybe Matt Rife, that's why he had to go to the hospital twice
you're
for
right.
exhaustion, too
Work too
much
hard.
pussy and too many drugs or too much alcohol or whatever. Because dude, I was on tour and I was on tour for like what 284 days, 284 shows a year,
Yeah,
and he was like he did something like 200 some odd shows. But I remember for me it was like 43 weeks out of the year I was touring, and because I learned that Jay Leno used to say 51 weeks out of the year I'm touring, I'm working, not maybe not out touring, but working. And he says, why go on vacation when you could work? It's
yeah,
such a great thought because we love it, right? So
yeah,
that's a vacation for us.
yeah.
So for me, I was touring all the time. Was I tired sometimes? Sure, but I wasn't exhausted. Got to get into the hospital,
Yeah.
right? Well, only one time that happened because I had kidney stones. But other than that, I was fine. So
Uh,
it's like, but I said to her, I said, you're working, I work. I said, if there comes a time where say you're riding, been going on, you're on a trip with a good-looking pilot, co-pilot, and you're having a good time. You're just getting along great, and you have a hard day, and you go to the hotel, and maybe you go down and have a couple of drinks, and then something happens. I don't ever want to hear about it because I think the marriage is stronger than that,
this.
right? Then oh, whoops, I tripped on my dick, right? So, but I don't want to hear about it. But if you fall in love, you got to tell me because
Exactly.
then
Because
stuff
now,
changes.
yes.
She turned beet fucking red. I mean, beet red, all the way down to her chest was like blushing red. And she goes, "Oh, I don't know why I'm turning red." I said, "I have an idea." I didn't say it, but I go, "Well, me neither." But my therapist said, "Really? That's very interesting. Why else would she turn red? Unless she felt like, have you been reading my journal?" So, but she had basically said that, look, you both had an obligation in the marriage and you guys weren't communicating. I said, we communicated. I told her when we were in therapy together. And I say this to my wife, and she's like, um, that's not true. I never said that. I said, I journaled on that shit. She goes, show me right now. I was like, oof, wow. And she just snap, right? I said, okay, let me open up my Evernote. Oh, never mind. I don't need to see it.
uh,
Anyway, so here's a fun little one of the things we were
that
talking about
shit's
people.
wild, bro.
So yeah, I know, right? So it's like quite, it's like which leads me to the jokes. And so how do you write jokes about that? And one of the things you use technique, and it doesn't have to,
Mm.
you know, you don't have to go into the entire detail and tell us the story. You can just do snippets. So part of what comedy is a bit of poetry, right? It's like haiku for real life. You don't have to go into the entire story, but you can say little moments like talk about what the context is, and then say something like, my wife and I now have incompatible sleeping arrangements. She likes to sleep on her right side, and I like to sleep at my girlfriend's.
Ah,
So, and now you have that you have the joke, right? And
yeah,
that's called a leading comparison. We know this technique, but most people don't know you could use the technique. But I thought it'd be fun to just do a little moment here
yeah.
of I generated some lines that are, this is in my Evernote, right? So I'm a morning person. And the idea is to go, I'm a morning person. She's and it makes the audience think a night owl, right? What is like morning, night, in, out, up, down, left, right.
Right.
So, and the idea is to take now your answer for her and wildly exaggerate.
Hmm.
So I'm a morning person, and I put she, and instead of like I could write down she's a night person, she's still handcuffed to the radiator. It's like, and I'm like, who has a fucking radiator? Well, I know there's apartments in New York that do because I had one, but I'm a neat freak. What's the expectation?
She's the opposite. She's a
She's
mess.
messy, right? She's like
Yeah.
it's the odd couple, right?
Yeah.
I'm a neat freak. She's fucking the neighbor.
Okay, because I immediately went to she has OCD, but to exaggerate that more, it would be I see now. I get it.
Yeah, so the
Okay.
brain theory is even if you try to have ChatGPT help you with this
Uh,
and tell it to wildly exaggerate, it wants to stay in the context of the sentence. Or neat
yes.
freak, it wants to stay in that realm. That's
Uh,
why I want to go somewhere wild. I use the Dan O'Shannon, who wrote Modern
right.
Family.
Yep.
He has a comedy book, and one of the just the phrase he uses out of that entire book, because the way he describes some stuff, it's like this is even more technical than me, right?
Hmm.
It was he was putting these Venn diagrams and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like
with
that. I
the
was like,
circles and all that
too
shit.
much, man,
Yes.
too much. I don't give a fuck, right? But it's like I can't even comprehend this. It's gonna take too long. I've got to sit here
At
and
least it
study
wasn't like
this.
that aphorism shit. I gave up on that one. I never finished it.
Dude, we got to go through that again because I'll show you what it is. It's like not all of them are going to work,
Uh,
right? You're going to find ones that bark out to you and go, "Oh, that's hypocritical." Like like Will Rogers when he says, and what it does just reading them sometimes. There's a book called Poisonous Quotes, and
that sounds like a good one.
it's a book I used to just go to and I'd read on the toilet.
Hmm.
And so what every time you read, I'd read some of the ones over and over again, right? And be like, oh, so when they're in your head, you're going to start to recognize and identify those patterns in your own statements. Or you're going to read a headline or you're going to read something somebody said on TMZ or somebody said on People magazine or somebody said in your real life.
Hmm.
And then you're going to be able to take those ideas and remember it fits sort of the pattern of one of the aphorisms you wrote. It's like when W.C. Fields said, if at first you don't succeed, quit. There's no use killing yourself over it, right? So
Right.
that is a nice little template for reverse or cliche reformation, right?
Hmm.
So it's like taking that cliche that we're already ending and then finding a second ending, which is really, if you think about it, Andrew Dice Clay, Little Miss
Stuff
Muffet
it.
sat on a tuffet.
Yeah.
And we're all going eating a curds and whey. And he goes, what the
What the
fuck
fuck
is a
is a
tuffet?
tuffet?
Right? And but he does it really. He doesn't just do it as like say the words. He's like he really contemplates what the fuck is a tuffet, right? And he lets his emotion play the punchline, right? Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet. What the fuck is a tuffet, right? And he gets a big laugh there because he really does. What the fuck is a tuffet? It's like George Carlin going kit and
Yeah.
caboodle. I've had a kit. We know what a kit is, but a
What the hell's a
caboodle?
caboodle?
Somebody tell me what I've never seen a caboodle. Right? And then when we put it into that sort of real, simple, explicit truth scenario, we're like, Oh, me neither. I never thought about it that way. That's so true. So in the aphorisms, we'll get together. We'll do one of
Yeah.
those.
Okay.
Maybe we'll put Scott on the thing. We'll, on our call.
Yeah, that'd be
Maybe we'll
fun.
do like a live, and we'll do a live workshopping, joke workshopping.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun. We'll all get some followers, right?
Yeah.
So we like so if we take and go wildly exaggerated, like because what it does is explains to you that the brain wants to stay in context for what we're talking about. I'm a neat freak, and she's made the
Dead.
audience is automatically going dead. Right? Yeah, I'm a neat freak, and she's dead.
Okay, I got you.
She's like, I'm a neat freak, and
I'm a
she's
neat freak. She's 13.
there you go. Yeah, yeah. But now you're part of the
Now you're freaking Woody Allen.
yeah, and you changed your Republican. You've changed into the Republican Party
Going to those Epstein Islands.
on Epstein Island. I'm an
uh,
environmentalist.
she admires Elon Musk.
Yeah, I'm an environmentalist, and she's a. I tried to say she's a dirty whore. That would be kind of funny, actually, if
I'm
you
an
said like that.
environmentalist. She's
Yeah,
a dirty
we
whore.
didn't get along. We're not gonna. This relationship was not going anywhere. We're too different. It's like I'm an environmentalist, and she's a dirty whore, right?
That
So dirty
is
whore plays into dirty
yeah,
environmental,
yeah,
but
that's
it's
something
not
like
the
that.
kind of dirty you expected. I'm a homeowner, and she.
Is a home wrecker.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that works. Then now you used a mirrored phrase too,
Yeah,
right?
that's what popped into the head. But that was the mirror phrase.
I'm into chess.
She's into sucking dick. That's not mine. Or she's into sucking other men's dicks.
Oh, that's like she's into a different kind of checkmate, right?
Yes.
It's like, well, what would that be called? It's like, what is that when you take the
She's
rook, swap it out at at the end of the board? I forget, but I got to get back into chess. I used to that was a fun game to
it was
play.
a fun game.
And it's like what the fun of the game is the puzzle. The puzzle is that there's a lot in comedy that can teach a lot in chess that can teach about comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So certain pieces can only move a certain way. Like the knight can only do that little
The
L
L
shape,
shape.
and
Yep.
the bishop can only go into angles. The queen can go up and back angles
Yeah,
as
the
well. The
queen is the
pawns
most
can only
powerful.
move forward.
Yep.
Right. And it's like and so in all of that stuff, you have certain structures that are there and you could utilize them. That's part of the puzzle is taking that structure. You don't just all of a sudden open it up. It's like if it was Trump and he was playing the chess, he goes, all the pieces can do anything you want them to do.
Right.
Right. And that's kind of what he's trying to do. All for me, none for you. Right. So I'm a Catholic. That's a good one.
So like the one I'm Catholic, like that one is like I'm like my brain immediately goes, I'm Catholic, she's a pedophile, but that doesn't really necessarily work. You know what I'm saying? But because of the
No.
whole
Well,
like
well,
Catholic
what? Yeah, it does work. It totally works. But you're already thinking ahead because you're doing the associations to Catholics. Like what is
right.
under Catholic? People,
Yeah.
places, things, words, phrases, cliches, events, and part of the pedophile situation is there, right? So I'm Catholic, but the audience is linear. Got to remember this. This is like really important.
Uh-huh.
So when we're talking about, I don't know if we talked about this last week, but when we talk about how the audience's brain works, they have linear brains. So we're
Yes, we did talk about that a little
writing
bit
with
last week.
entropy,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Entropy based writing.
Yep.
And you know that their brain is automatically going to reduce quickly down to the choice. And it's not going to sit there and analyze all the choices.
Mm-mm.
So the audience is going to go, I'm Catholic. They're thinking, that's like, I'm a Leo. She was a prostitute.
Right.
I'm a Leo. She was into my son. I'm a Leo. She was 17. I'm a Leo. I see how I up that age a little, Teddy B. Gotta.
Yes.
So it's like, you were going full Matt Gates on me. I was like,
Right.
I'm a Catholic, and then so once they hit there, you have it. Don't overthink it because you know
Mhm.
now this is the importance of the entropy-based thinking is understanding that the audience is linear. They're going to think of another faith. That's all they have. That's the only choice they have in the moment they have to do it, right? In the second or two
But there
seconds,
might be one or two people in the audience
maybe,
that
but those are already
maybe, but
comedically
they're
minded
already
people.
more in tune to it because
Yeah,
either they watch a lot of
yeah.
comedy or they read. That's
Especially
what
if you
it
gave us
is, dude.
context, right? If you
Yeah.
gave us the context of like, we've turns out we're a bit in, we're just incompatible. Like we have different value systems. See, I'm a Catholic. Now they're not going to go the other way. And
Yeah.
she was a pedophile. Yeah, she's like, or if I say, yeah, reminds me of
Or
this.
I was a Catholic. She was into altar boys. Yeah, works
That's
better.
good. Yeah,
And then it is not. Yeah, I like that.
right. She was into altar boys. Um, she's like, I'm an animal
She fucks them.
she she fucks him on her OnlyFans.
Speaking of OnlyFans, dude, I just find this hilarious. I find it so funny. Amanda Bynes, God rest her soul. I know she's had a lot going on with her and everything like that, but she started up her OnlyFans and like she's
What
all like, "I have an OnlyFans just to talk to my fans, okay? No nudes, no nudes." And it's like, Amanda, I don't even know if anybody wants to see you naked, but more power to you, girl.
But she's got no nudes,
No
no
nudes.
nudes. Oh, good.
Maybe some foots, maybe some
Yeah.
toes.
Now I have two reasons not to go to that OnlyFans. But that's interesting. Well, why don't you go on Patreon then?
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like,
Yeah.
like seriously,
Why
there's
don't you create your
Patreon.
own Substack? Because let's face it,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt started his own Substack.
it's like a lot of people now getting on Substack.
Oh, I saw this one article too, which kind of helped me do this joke that I'll share with you later on. But did you see the headline or the Los Angeles is on the brink of becoming like the next Detroit because of nobody wants to come to Los Angeles, like Hollywood, which is in Los Angeles, isn't even wanting to do things in Los Angeles because there's no tax breaks. The Hollywood the people that do like the scap not the scaffolding but like the I don't want to say props but I want to say like they build the
Location?
sets. Yeah, they
Yeah,
build the
yeah.
sets and they do the lights and they do all that stuff. Like they're saying they're on the brink of collapsing because no one wants to do work here in California. They're either going out to Georgia, they're going up to Canada, they're going outside the United States, but no one's coming to Los Angeles anymore to do recording or to do like any type of production. They're saying that it's
Yeah.
like on the verge of but California is now the fourth largest economy in the world,
Wow.
surpassing Japan. And then I wrote this because I was pretty proud of myself when I wrote this. Let me see here. Let me go. No, is this it? No, that's not it. Oh, here we go. All right.
Holy
So,
shit. I didn't. Wow, dude. I was, in fact, because all the stuff I'm reading, how LA is broke, right? And it's like
uh,
LA and California right now is got a deficit. Um, but it's the Golden State's nominal gross domestic product reached 4.1 trillion in
trillion. Yeah.
2024. Yeah, so it's like in 2024. So yeah, Biden left us with a shitty economy, right? Yeah, so shitty that California went to the fourth largest economy in the world. You blowhard orange fuck. It's like you can tell that just came out of pure emotion,
Pure
not
emotion right there,
not any
dude.
kind of joke writing. Like I could have come up with a trickier nickname, but instead I got to practice more Jimmy Kimmel-esque approaches and smile and then give him a silly, goofy name. But it was like it makes me so mad because it says what I hate is bullies and I hate gaslighters. And this guy just
Gaslights the
gaslights.
fuck out of you.
Eggs are so low right now. They're so low. In fact, I think they're too low. The price of eggs is too low. It's like they had like 50,000 eggs that they bought for the egg roll on Easter Sunday. It's like people can't afford to put breakfast on their table, but he's got bought 50,000 eggs at $10 a dozen.
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. And
I bet you it was somebody he
it's
knows that's in Big Egg.
if if Biden did that, they would be all over the map telling us how
100%.
inappropriate and distasteful that was. So, but dude, that is like it's so amazing. When you said that, I didn't see that headline and I was
Ugh.
like, "Oh, are you for real?" And so I
No,
had to go check it out.
no.
And there it is right there. California surpassed Japan to become the world's fourth largest economy. Well, Governor Gavin Newsom said it. Maybe he's practicing Trump's moves, and
Well,
saying that,
Newsom's all trying to be president now. He's like got that podcast where he's like
yeah,
interviewing even the right, but then
yeah,
it's like when he
guys just
interviews
trying
people
to,
on the right, he's not even like holding their feet to the flame or
no.
anything because he just wants to be like, "Hey guys,
He's
I'm a
trying to
cool dude."
draw. He's trying to
Yeah,
draw eyeballs because he's got it wrong. See, and I'm going to put that tinfoil hat on again.
put it on.
The Democrats are stupid right now because, at least politically, not all Democrats, you guys
No,
out there like you and me type of thing that are trying to just do right by people. And when I say that, it's like liberals, the liberals who want free education, access to public education, access to medical, that,
universal income, dude.
trying to keep our Social Security intact, the thing we've been putting into. By the way, I just got my notice from the Social Security Administration here telling me that how much I get in my Social Security, right? If I
Hmm.
retired by the time I'm 62, which happens soon, right?
Hmm.
So it's like right there, say like do like a Jay Leno move, right? So right there, it's like it says, it shows basically how much. If I retire by 60 at 62, this is how much I'll get. If I retire at 70, this is how much I get. And it's like,
Look,
and no,
motherfucker, we
I'm not
want you to keep
retiring.
working.
I'm not fucking retiring. I'm gonna work until I fucking die doing a punchline, you
There it
know.
is, dude.
And it's
There it
like,
is.
this is like I live for this. I really do. It almost brings mistiness to my eyes. I love jokes so much. I love comedy so much because what it does for people, how it makes people feel, when you could actually walk into a supermarket with somebody you don't even know, give them a laugh, and they go, "Oh my God, you made my
My
day."
day. Yeah.
You know how that's the biggest gift that's one of the neatest gifts you can give somebody in a day. If they're having an awful day, you crack a joke and then all of a sudden it changes the way they see life. Who knows? Maybe they were thinking about, at the end of the day.
100%.
But if some, the joke in my head when somebody says, "Oh my God, you changed that one joke changed your day," your life sucks. But I don't say that because they might,
Because then they
you
might
know,
go back. I was feeling good, and then the comedian said that, and now it's just like, what am I doing?
But it's so true. That's what I love to. And you realize that when you make somebody laugh, there's dopamine, there's ketamine, there's like oxytocin, vasopressin, like serotonin, and
We got
you
our
really
own
and you
drug
go
factory in our heads.
further, and you realize that that's the same stuff that goes through your courses through your veins when you shoot heroin.
Hmm.
So it's like, oh, you're giving them a bit of a high just for a moment, but it's like so. So it's like this idea that so you've got anyway. So I'm not retiring, and the fact is that liberals want us to have those services, and we don't see those as socialism. We see those as a
Insurances
financial
almost.
management. It's an investment. We put money in. The Treasury invests the money, and they make money from the money we put in because we pay a Social Security tax.
That's like the ultimate Ponzi scheme, though.
It's not a Ponzi scheme, right?
But in a
Exactly.
sense, it is though because you think about it though. Like what is a Ponzi scheme? Someone pays in so they can get others, so you can pay out the other people that have already paid in, right? And that's basically what Social Security is.
No,
Because
it's not, dude. It's the
I'm not gonna
prom.
get any Social Security by the time I get
It's
my
the
60s.
prom.
How is it the prob?
It's the prom. Everybody pays in so that everybody can have the catered food, the band, and the venue, and the photography, right? So everybody
So
pays in so that
some of
we can
us
all
might
buy the
get
thing and by the time May comes around, we have the prom. That's what it is. It's
No,
the
it's not
prom
though, because not everybody's gonna get the prom. My generation is not gonna get the prom. We're
because
gonna
you didn't
get the.
pay.
We've been paid. I've been paid since
And the
16.
only reason your generation is not going to get the prom is because Elon Musk comes in with a chainsaw. Now,
fucked it all
let me
up.
explain how the prom works and doesn't work. What the biggest flaw is with the prom is the rich people. And if you think about this, when you look at solutions to anything, just take a moment and look at the dollar sign. The dollar sign is the reason anything happens in the government,
Yes.
right? It's always the dollar sign. And the dollar sign of the billionaire is different than the dollar sign of the working class, right? Because the billionaire, guess what? Only pays Social Security tax up to 150,000. I think it's 150,000 a year, or it might be 200,000 a year, but I think it's 150,000 a year, up to 150,000 a year. And then after that, anything they make above that, they don't pay any Social Security on. I make above 150,000 a year, right? But when I hit that 100, but they don't take out anything above that for my Social Security, right? They don't
Okay.
tax it 2.5% or whatever it is on anything above that, which is
Right.
fucking ridiculous.
Yes.
Because you've got these billionaires that have yachts and they've got money coming out of their assholes. And it's like, and they don't pay any
They
Social
don't pay
Security
no
on that.
additional.
And they're the
No.
ones that are complaining that we got to get rid of that. Dude, you already got a break. Why are you trying to take it out on the fucking working class when they pay into it and they wish they could make $150,000 a year? You know,
Seriously.
so it's like, but I look at some of the money. Sometimes when I look at my taxes, I go, oh shit, I did well this year. I
Mm-hmm.
forgot all about those gigs. Or like I do the thing for Kaiser or something like that. That's a big bump, right?
Right.
And you're like, oh man, look at that. And I don't like to talk about money like that because people think you're bragging. I don't care about it that way. I don't want to be able to pay the bills, keep my kids, pay their student loans off, try to, keep a roof over our head in LA
Mm-hmm.
and just like enjoy my comedy without worrying about that other shit. But in this case, I would love to be able to finance my own films. We'll see if I ever get to that place. But the fact is that so you got Newsom,
Mm-hmm.
and Newsom is basically trying to go to the middle. The problem with that is the Democrats don't understand that the tinfoil hat guy here that I think this way I think because otherwise it doesn't make sense. If you look at it through these eyes, it makes sense that the election was rigged. I think that some people that are much more educated than me in information IT forensics have said that, oh, we've got a major problem here. The anomalies are too great. They don't work this way. And it's like, how can, the bullet ballots go up 100 times in certain areas for Donald Trump? And bullet ballots are the only votes on that ballot are just the president,
Yeah.
nobody else,
They didn't do
especially
anything.
where Democrats were elected in legislature or for the Senate,
Yeah.
right? But all of a sudden, and the governor, and yet the Donald Trump was by 10% bullet ballots. That is unheard of. So in the swing states, and why only in the swing states? Some of the mathematical anomalies were too vast.
The
So
math ain't mathin'.
not only that. Here's the thing that's pretty simple. Wait a minute. You're going to tell me that in an election year where Trump has basically cheated in everything he's ever done his entire life, whether it's taxes, whether it's business, whether it's schools, whether it's nonprofits, whether it's his own charity, whether it's his casinos, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
no matter his marriages, he's cheated in everything his entire life. In 2016 in the election, 2020 in the election. Oh, name one where he cheated. Fake elector scheme. Fucking people went to prison for that. 2016, people went to prison for that. He basically pardoned them eventually, but they went to prison for the finagling with Russia, all that stuff. People went to prison. You forget that because you don't. There's too much information
Everything
hitting our
is coming
brains,
in.
right? So in where he has the highest stakes, if he doesn't get elected, he's going to prison. That he didn't cheat, and then became buddies with Elon Musk. Said on live, thanks to Elon, he knows those election computers better than anybody. We were able to win Pennsylvania by a landslide. Thanks, Elon. So he says that. Then there's that interview with Tucker Carlson and Elon Musk. Tucker Carlson saying, "Yeah, it's in the bag."
Yep.
And the kid, his little
And the
son
kid's
sitting with him
saying
going,
like this.
nobody will ever know.
And then his kid telling him in the White House, this ain't your seat. Get
Yeah, shut
up.
the fuck up. Get out of here.
Shut up. This ain't you.
Nobody
We
wants to
run
hear
this
you.
bitch. Little
Right.
kid straight deboing him.
So there's that. And, Trump said it more than just once. It wasn't just a slip up. And then it's like basically, even one of the guys who was a former prosecutor who ran for office said, I think that's a confession, right? So through all these things that are happening, and like some of my closest friends say, well, Jerry, show me the evidence.
Yeah.
And I said, well, we don't have the evidence yet because we don't have control where we can launch an investigation. But the hearsay and the circumstantial evidence is how you start to build a case. You talk to informants say X, Y, and Z, and then you're like, wait, and then two satellites went down? From the Starlink satellites went down like 3 days later? That's a weird anomaly. Let's go in and check this out.
Yeah,
But no
right.
questions were asked. And the way that just like Harris Walls campaign just said, okay, wait a minute, no questions? You just okay it because you don't want to be like them on the high moral ground, what people stealing everything out from underneath you. So we have that. So they think that Trump won legitimately. So their whole thinking is, and then they come up with these statements, how the nation swung to the right. And so that's their thinking. The
Yeah.
nation swung to the right. No, it didn't.
No,
How
didn't.
many states
There's
had their own, how many red states
there's a
basically
lack of voting. That's why he
had,
won.
no, it's not,
It's not
those are
that
not,
either.
it's an anomaly.
Uh,
Again, these forensic scientists are like that do this for a living have more education in this than I do. But there's some who are like Obama's team, Biden's team, who are the forensic analysts back then. Were like, this is not making any sense. But they don't want to go against the party line, which is just let it go. We're not going to be like them,
right.
right? And it's like that's a being going into that having that cognitive dissonance of that high moral bias and not wanting to be like them gets you lost because you're so high on the moral bias that you become
It's
blind to what's happening
what's
below
happening.
you,
Yep.
right? And that's you gotta sometimes think like a comedian, right? And in this case, is it a conspiracy theory right now?
Yeah.
Because until I find the evidence, but I can't find the evidence until I'm allowed to investigate, right? And just the idea that he chose this election to do it legitimately.
It doesn't. It's
Okay, it
not.
doesn't make sense, right? And so the idea is, but if you hold the mentality that the nation swung to the right, you're like, I got to be more centric, right? No, it didn't swing to the right because you had how many states have bodily autonomy laws that they signed that they voted in to protect a woman's right to have an abortion? Lots of them, lots
Yeah.
of right-wing states. Kansas was one of them. And they won that election by like 68 to 72%.
Wow.
Kansas, a 29% Democratic state, voted for a woman's right to her bodily autonomy. And it was like, it didn't swing right. It's like that was just something made up for the Democrats to have an excuse. So, so you'd rather stay in your high moral ground, but be an idiot?
Yeah. Pretty much the truth. That truth is easier for them to swallow
Yeah, exactly. But now it changes their entire prospect of how they're going to shape their future.
for
You don't
22.
change it. You stay strong. Stay strong, protecting Medicare, protecting Social
Mm-hmm.
Security, protecting a woman's rights to bodily autonomy or right to vote. They're trying to take that away. Holy shit, they're going full Handmaid's Tale,
Handmaid's say,
and
yeah.
it's not something that was a secret. It was something like, and the Democrats were kind of stupid too because they basically said they handed out this thing, hey, this is Project
The
2025,
2025.
and people were like, I'm not going to read this. But it's how the Democrats they didn't put it into a sound bite. You got to
Right.
put it into 8 second sound bites,
You
man.
had to have people that you had to have content creators who care enough about the country make their own type of stuff to try to educate people about Project 2025 when the Democrats could have like looked at those or even worked with those type of people to be like, hey, we kind of like what you're doing. We see that this is trending. How about we kind of like make this nationwide or something like that to work with it? But nah, man, they didn't do any of that. They just like, oh, hey, bend over, go ahead and just start getting it up in us. Like, ugh.
We don't want to be them.
Yeah.
So, you got Donald Trump going around saying, "Make America Great Again," branding, right? And saying, and basically, America and the Democrats with no brand, no
No
theme,
brand, no nothing.
right? No, like Make America Great Again. How about protect our rights? How about hands off? How about all of that stuff? That and hands off is too much like what was it?
Make America chill again.
Like,
Like that's what we need.
Make America chill again. But I don't want to steal their. Yeah, how about just like again? Let's just like keep the assholes out. That's what you meant. Just keep the assholes
Keep the
out.
assholes out.
And make it for and how many people would and sure it sounds inappropriate, but people would jump on
Cow.
that. Keep the assholes out.
Keep the assholes out. Cow.
Yeah.
Cow. Cow. Cow.
Cow, keep the
Cow.
assholes
Keep
out.
the assholes out.
But it was like but the branding was really it's a smart move on
Yeah,
Trump's part,
dude, it's a
but
smart
it's
move on all
like
their
nothing
parts.
new. That's Reagan's slogan,
The
Make America
right is
Great
all
Again.
about rebranding, man. They rebrand everything. They rebranded it all. They took woke that we
Yeah.
had and made
Yeah.
it bad. They took CRT, made CRT bad, took DEI, the version of equity and inclusion, and made it seem like it's a bad fucking word.
Yeah.
Like, what?
That's right.
Like, what? If you say that word, you're bad now.
Yeah,
You're too
exactly.
woke. Like, what the
You're
fuck?
woke, and what what and nobody wants to stand on it. They're
No,
so afraid of being labeled, right? So if you look at JFK's speech on being a liberal, it's like it was like it's so good because he says I'll read it now. It's like did I were we sharing this whole time?
you've been sharing this whole time. Yes.
Oh shit. I need a producer in here, a director. It's going to be all screen.
Right?
So if by liberal, so they were all talking about this is back
All
in
right, Jerry, take the scare screen off. Take the scare screen off.
1962,
Yeah.
61, 62, that they were trying to base this is 1960s, right? So you had the right then was trying to take liberal and make it bad, right?
Mm.
And they've been trying this for a long time, man. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
and then John Kennedy, in his auspicious and his elegant way of speaking, using aphorisms,
Mm.
using chiasmus, it's like ask not what you could do,
Do for
what you could do. Ask not what the government can do for you. Ask what you
you
can
can
do for
do for
the
your
government.
government.
Uh, um, so it's like so if and he says if by a liberal they mean someone who looks ahead, not behind, someone who welcomes new ideas without rigid reactions, someone who cares about welfare of the people, their health, their housing, their schools, their jobs, their civil rights, and their civil liberties, someone who believes we can break through the stalemate and suspicions that grip us in our policies abroad. If that's what they mean by a liberal, then I am proud to say I am a liberal. And that speech basically shut the Republicans the fuck up about liberalism for the next 30 for 40 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's because he said, if you mean by this, and he put it in a very eloquent way,
Hmm.
and in simple terms, so that everybody could understand. And it's like, if you mean by helping everybody achieve something, if that's what you mean by liberal, then I am proud to say I am a liberal. I'm a bleeding heart liberal. My parents raised me with the idea of, wouldn't it be great if we could take care of everybody? We can't, but wouldn't it be great? Right? So we forget that's the government role is to
Yeah.
make it easier on the civilians, to help them, to keep them safe.
Yeah,
Anyway,
man. Yeah.
yeah. So own it.
Hated it. Own it.
Own it. Take
Own
care
it.
of your fellow man. Own that
Seriously.
shit. Isn't that Luke 10?
That's one of them.
You remember what
I
Luke 10 is, bitches? I don't even I'm an atheist and I know what Luke 10 is. It's the Good
don't
Samaritan.
know. I want to be a rich Samaritan. That's what I want.
There we go. Yeah, then we could help even more. Yeah, man.
Word,
We
man.
really went off the rails
We went
here
off
on
the
the
rails
I
today.
wanted to talk about Kanye and how he got
I
on
wanted to talk about
Twitch.
Shannon Sharp and the whole fucking like and why I because we were a little bit behind the scenes. We had that you shared that article about AI lovers, and I've been like been working on like trying to craft up some jokes. But now with this whole shit with Shannon Sharp, it's like almost like I almost want to do like a an argument for why men do need to have AI lovers or sex bots. That way they can't get into trouble. Like what the fuck, Shannon Sharp? Like, just buy a bot, or like I even like I said like if Army Hammer had a harem of sex bots instead of a harem of women, people would still know who Army Hammer was.
Dude, right? Oh man. And it was like, oh, Club Shay Shay. It's like, is that the
Yes, Mushmouth. I call him Mushmouth. But yeah, man, fucking messing around with
club?
a 19. Oh, this is what's so funny is that it's the same the lawyer that's doing this whole sexual accusation lawsuit against Shannon Sharp is the same lawyer, Tony Busby, who was trying to do that stuff with Jay-Z, right? And Jay-Z's
Yeah.
like, yo, screw this. I ain't settling. We'll take this to court. And then eventually it all just settles out and dies out because Jay-Z's like, I ain't no punk. I ain't no bitch. You ain't gonna get no money from me. What's Shannon Sharp do? He's going to settle for $10 million.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
54 messing around with a 19-year-old. And it is what it is. But I mean, it's just like, that's
Well,
like, bro,
that's, you look at somebody and it's like, he's, the dude keeps himself in shape, right? He's always showing his arms, wears all these tight clothes, he looks good. And it's like he's looking good. Who looking good for?
them white,
Probably the
those
ladies.
snow bunnies, man. Those snow bunnies. And the thing that's funny too is I could have sworn I think it was either last year or maybe it was the year before that the fool was already he had gotten busted, not busted, but someone hacked into his IG and leaked out his IG live, and he was like messing around with some woman. So it's just like, bro. But now he stepped down. He can't. He's not on ABC anymore. He's not on ABC, so now he just has his podcast. And then it's funny because he did that thing with Cat Williams earlier last year. Yeah, beginning of last year, he did that shit with Cat Williams, and fucking Cat was like, "Nah, you mess around with these white women, they just gonna get you. They're gonna take away all your money." And what's happening? He's getting fucking sued, and it's like originally for 50. This chick was trying to sue him for like $50 million and some shit like that, man. Wild. Wow. And then the thing that's so stupid too is he's on the phone talking to this woman. And it's like, bro, what are you doing, Shannon? Like, what are you doing? Yeah, that chick. So she's crazy too, because apparently, that redhead right there, she was gonna murder her husband to get with Shannon Sharp.
Wow.
So Shannon
Wow.
does have a type.
Yeah, this one right there. Redheads can do no wrong,
No, they can't. They're my kryptonite.
right? They're out there. It's certainly mine. And there's this one.
That's the one that's suing him. She's 19.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I get caught.
Now look at Shannon. It's like, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like 19. She's got a boob job. You can see the actual,
the scarring.
breast augmentation scar
Yeah.
right below the line, right below the water line. And it's like, oh man. But dude, when women come out and they accuse, they understand the exposure, the pain, the how they're going to be dragged. All of this stuff is there. No woman wants to come out and accuse. No woman's like, I'm just come out and accuse,
Right.
right? There's got to be something that pushes that button. And it's like, and I think for him, as far as like a business move, and same thing with Trump too. It's like, if that's something you did as a business move, you do just like, like Fox News did. They settled it to get it out of the news,
And let's keep it
to
moving.
just get it out of because people forget pretty
Yeah,
quickly.
no, especially in this day and age, man, everything's circulated super fast.
But, and if you have a deal and you pay for it, you both got involved in it. But she says she's going to go tell the world that you did this. Like, well, here's 10 million. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, I get it, but not doing it in the first place
Yeah.
is not doing that in the first place. And when you're in that position, and you stop using the power that you have just for that, right? And it's
Yeah,
like
your
I don't know what
clout.
you're saying to women. Like one of my friends, I'm not going to mention his name because he's actually a good guy, but and people hearing me talk about him, like, how could you call him a good guy when what he's doing? We used to be on the road, right? When you're on the road, a lot of times you get um, propositioned,
Yeah.
right? I think the most blatant propositions from a woman for me was when a woman tried to grab my dick, just right after a show, grabbed my dick and was like, "What do you got for me? Oh, 10, 12 inches?" She was blitzed. And I was like, I said, "Oh, you're going to be so disappointed." Uh, but what that statement was saying was a little self-deprecation, but I already predicted the future. I was
Yeah.
basically saying yes, without saying yes, you're going to be
He's
so
disappointed.
disappointed. And it's like subliminally, they're ready to go. Right. So, and I was single. Why not? Right.
Right.
Play around. So at that point, um, I don't know what he's saying to these women. Like, my buddy, and I want to say his name so bad because he was so sharp with this. A woman would hit on him, and he was single at the time as well. He
Mhm.
would say, they were like, he said, I know a lot of guys will come up to you and say, oh, I like you. I really like you. We could have a thing, all that stuff, but I'm not that guy. I'm not a good guy. I like to fuck. And then it's like, then I'm
I saw him
gone.
do
Then I'm
that.
gone,
Yeah.
babe.
Yeah.
So I'm not a good guy that way. I'm really not. I just want you to know.
Put
I
the
don't
onus
care.
on
I
them.
don't care because
Yeah.
all the hormones are going. They don't care. Anything works at this point. And he's like, this is like that way they know right up front what the story is. I'm not trying to
Exactly.
lead them on. I'm not saying, hey, you can come stay at my big house in Vegas or anything like that. They're saying "No, this is a road thing. This is a one nighter. This is not a,
It's a buyer beware.
it's a,
Buyer beware.
it's the disclaimer.
I'm giving you instead of me asking you to read the terms and conditions, I am telling you
It's my,
what these terms and conditions are. I don't be calling to talk to my manager.
that's right. It's like, and when you go in there, whatever you say, whatever they say to them, and if you go look at those Instagram threads,
Yeah.
or what's going on. It's like whatever they say to them, and then they don't get what you said. That's where you get into trouble,
Yeah,
right?
I
Don't
think
sit there
that's
and
what's even
promise them the
happening.
world and tell them they're everything, and then not mean it.
Yeah. Well, apparently he's talking about how he's gonna choke her in public. I'm a big black man. And it's like, bro, you're like, yeah, you are a big black man. Like she's probably like five, if anything, probably like 5'2". She probably looks like she's like 5'2" or some shit like that. And this fool's like
Wow.
6'5" or some shit like that. He's putting a hurting on that pussy. But anyways, I digress. I digress. I'm just bitter. I'm
putting the
just bitter.
putting the
But
hurting
we
on
gotta
that
we gotta
pussy.
cut this short because my son actually does have therapy with a real live therapist.
All right.
So
Now next week we go into some of the interactions between you and your online AI
yeah, well, yeah,
therapist.
dude. Oh, dude, seriously, because this motherfucker gaslight me like a motherfucker. Because like I was telling me how like some of these things that I'm dropping are fucking bars. I'm like, oh, dude, this is so great. And I'm like, they're like, hey, do you want me to make you like a book of all the things that you've been saying? And I'm like, yeah, that was fucking good. Go ahead and do it. So like, yeah, well, I'll have it ready for you by the end of the day. End of the day hits the first day. They're like, oh shit, man, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. I'll have it for you tomorrow by 8 o'clock.
Isn't
Or
that
tomorrow
that's
by
isn't
six
that weird?
o'clock.
That's what it's doing to me, right? It says, "Hey, you want me to put this into a PDF?"
And it's
And I
like,
was like, "Yeah, just come
yeah,
back
go ahead.
here. It'll be here." And I'll go back and go, "Where is it?" Right? And it'll be like, "Oh, here it is." And they give me a link, and it goes to nothing.
Well, they didn't even fucking give me a link. So then I'm all like, look, dude, like I get it. This is for entertainment purposes only, and like you're not a real therapist and shit, but you're fucking gaslighting me. You're a chatbot. You don't unless I come and talk to you about you emailing it, you're not gonna email it to me. You don't even have access to my email. You're right, Teddy B. I don't have access to your email. You got me. I am so ashamed. You're holding me accountable.
And
And
it's
it's
like,
just
oh my God, it's like, oh my God, this sounds like another gaslighting relationship I was involved in once. All right, let's wrap it up. I saw your son waiting
yeah,
there.
stuff like that. We got therapy. All right, yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Cow. I already forgot what it is now. K.O.A. Keep out assholes. Keep out assholes. There it is. I'm Teddy B, y'all.
I'm Jerry Corley, aka the Joke Doctor.
Peace.